Hello and welcome back to Sprite Plays Starseed Pilgrim. In the last episode, we completed the level without a caption, found the second caption, A Silence Let Us Time to Think. It was pretty exciting, came very close to losing that one. So now we are going to go on a little bit more of an exploration episode and see what there is left for us to do. We are getting pretty close to the end. And probably the levels that remain we're not likely to be able to beat with 0 seeds in our stockpile, but I just want to explore a level we haven't been into in a very long time and see what we can discover. So this one is, The sky was in my dreams today, the clouds, they took my breath away. So we can only see 1 seed ahead, but I believe we can, let's see, it seems like we can jump further, and we have gotten a jump pad instead of a straightaway. That red one is, I think, going to end up being a little bit useful. I think we're going to be using that to progress, and that was probably a little too early to be opening it up. Oh my goodness, we open up all of the pink seeds at once. That is a surprise. And I do now remember that being a thing that exists. So now I'm wondering, okay, so I think that's probably then the normal jump height. But it seems like we're getting a lot of these jump pads. Yeah, okay, so that all seems to be the same as usual. And I missed my opportunity. Actually, we can... Oh! Right. Okay, that's going to take some getting used to. So what do we have over here? We have a couple of keys. And I'm going to plant this here. I think that will do the best job of blocking the way. So we cannot plan ahead at all. And so I think that is going to mean that we will have to have a pretty big stockpile to be able to get anything done. And this is going to corrupt very quickly. I probably should not even have done that. Should not have waited for that. We have had no green ones, and so there is not even much point of getting that key. We're just kind of in a lousy situation at this point. And we're just trying to be on the run, and we are out of seeds. So that is going to be the end of this level. And we can make our way back to the door, but we will have nothing to show for it. We're going to need an enormous stockpile in order to make it through this level. And so I think at this point the thing to do is probably to do a little bit more exploring, because that ended so quickly. And we can see what else there is. I think we're getting up here. This is hopeless. I ignored it. So this is the level where we can walk on the darkness. And we're still quite a ways from being able to beat that. And then, mired low in silence slowing, shut my eyes to darkness growing. This is another one that I do not remember what happens here. So let's see. That feels a little bit heavier. Yeah, we can only jump 2 tiles now. So that is going to really limit a lot of my strategies. I think the springboards will still help us out in the same way that they usually do. So those will become more valuable. And we're going to have to really be careful about planning out our growing seed usage. Because we're going to have a much harder time of reaching them. And so we're going to need to put a jump pad there, and then this red one we don't really want, and we actually have red, ice, and then red, and that is not a really appealing sequence. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig down here and plant that. And jump out of there just barely. Oh, that was the wrong place to put that, because that's going to explode and override all of that. We're just going to get rid of that one in there. That is where we want the ice. And then we just want to get up on top of this and just make sure that we don't lose hold of it. That means the darkness is catching up with us a little bit. Let's see, where do I want to plant that? I want to plant that there. Wait for one to grow in, and then, well, actually, let's, and then dig that very quickly. That works. And now I think I want to actually put this here to fill in some of this gray. And that actually killed our pink tower, which I really did not want. And that was a mistake right there. But we can plant that there. That's good enough. And I guess put another seed tower there. We can plant this one here. Drop down in there, put that there. That will give us some more fruits to harvest later in the game if we make it that far. So, despite the restriction in this game, I actually feel pretty okay about what's going on. I feel pretty in control of things. This is not a great order to get things in. I don't have a great place to put that orange. And I'm thinking, okay, what can we do here? How much can we actually do with what we have here? And I think it's time to harvest these. We're actually getting pretty low on seeds. And so the fact that this has a 50-50 chance of being useless, and it was useless, that's not good. We do see a door. We see one key. And let's see, I think the best place to put this is there-ish. That will give it lots of room to grow. And then maybe we can fill in this gray. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so that has actually helped us out a bit. This is ready to head off this way. So let's see if we can get to some of these keys, maybe get to a door. That door is pretty hard to reach. It's pretty high up. If we build something going straight up into it, we will... Oh dear. Oh, I just saw what was about to happen there. The kind of the advantage is it will drop down any shaft as long as the shaft comes directly up from under it. But the darkness is catching up with us, and so it would have to be an orange one that we put there. And I don't actually know that we have an orange one to spare. And I think probably there. And we would also have to have something to prevent it from going off to the side here, so that's not going to work out. I think that we do not have a good way of getting to that door. Let's see. Darkness is catching up with us pretty quickly. We may have to harvest these before we want to. So I'm going to sit on top of them. Actually, no. I'm going to plant that and put some ice out here and the purple so that we can start the next seed tower growing. And this one we will harvest right away. Now, what I would really like to see here is some green, but we're not seeing that. And we don't have a great place for that purple. Don't have a very good place for this red, though there will actually help out a little bit. And now we have a green that we can't actually use in the place that I wanted to use it. We're going to have to use that jump pad to launch ourselves over here, but I think if we put that there, we have a pretty good chance of creating something useful over here. And it looks like it's not that useful, but it's not completely useless either. That's where I want that. Just barely made it on top of that. And now we have, let's see, we're once again very, very close to the end of the line here. And not getting things in the order. Ah, but here is the advantage, is that these slime ones we can still jump 2 squares on. And so that may actually end up being a little bit helpful. We don't really have a use for this red one, though we will have a use for the next red one. And that was probably way too early harvesting that. That may have been a pretty big mistake. But we can blow this up. And you have to be a bit more careful about those than I actually was. We managed to survive it, but you can't jump straight up in the way that you normally do. Having a jump pad down here could end up being quite useful. But now we have red, and so what I should have done was actually use the blue to plant the extra red. But that, I think, won't do any harm. However, it doesn't do us any good either. And we have actually hit the end of the line, and I don't think we actually connected up with any keys. And so that is the end of this run. So we have, I think this is going to be probably the easier of the 2 levels for us to take on. We have 2 levels that feel, I think, like they would be within reach. And yet we have no keys available to us, so we are just going to have to lose our way, it seems. That's a shame. We have actually quite a few. I don't think we actually have enough hearts here to carry any into the next place, but that's the way this game goes. You know, you go on an adventure and you learn some stuff, but sometimes you have to return home, or rather lose your way empty-handed. And so in the next episode, I will probably do some off-camera farming, and then we will explore some of those levels, and it looks like they will be very easy to find our way back to. So that is what is coming up. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.